Okay. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to go over our full review of Ronto Roasters. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Again, today we're going to review Ronto Roasters. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and tink the bell for notifications. Leave a comment if you have any questions or agree or disagree with anything we have to say. And I also wanted to point out that tomorrow we're going to be doing, so this is going up Tuesday, but tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to be doing an awesome Disney showdown. Tomorrow is Disney Princesses. With Who Dat Travel and Mermaid Nina and some other awesome channels. We're going to debate who our favorite princesses are, and we're going to be having other debates throughout the month of September on Wednesdays. So if you join us on Wednesday, you can help us by voting for our princess team that we're compiling, and hopefully crossing our fingers that we do pretty well. I know that I've watched some of the other videos that they've been posting up, and they're awesome. So hopefully you'll check that out with us, and we'll have a really good time. But let's get right into this. If you've seen any of our other reviews of restaurants at Disney, we go through a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, and we have 5 categories that we talk about. That is theme, perks, value, food, and would we go back? So let's start right off with the theme. And as we're going through this, again, we haven't really talked about this amongst ourselves. We just kind of throw it out there and say, all right, this is what we're doing, this is what we're not doing. And for all intents and purposes, we went during COVID. We had been to Galaxy's Edge in the past, but we haven't eaten at Ronto Roasters until this past trip. So this is theme. We'll go 1, 2, 3. All right, very good. So we have a 5 on my end, a 4 on your end. So why did you go with a 4?
I almost went with a 5, but I went with a 4. I went with a 4 only because I was thinking like, well, it's outside, and like for me, the main theme, the main attraction is the big roaster in the middle with the droid.
Right.
And I feel like the seating is, it's in theme of the Galaxies, but I feel like it's just kind of like it's just kind of plain.
Or something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I went with a 5. I love that. You go to different restaurants, and the characters that are there, as in the waiters, waitresses, and whatnot, they're like in their costume. But I think that in Galaxy's Edge, like the Ronto Roasters employees or cast members are dressed very similar to the other employees or cast members that are in Galaxy's Edge. So it feels a lot like you're still on world. I love that droid that's roasting the Ronto, and I love the Ronto. Like, it's just a big slab of meat that's rolling, and it just looks really good. I love that it's being grilled by the rocket engine or like a pod engine or something like that, and that's just really cool. And that droid is kind of one of my favorites. I have a figure of it from the original trilogy, which is really cool, like a vintage figure. So all in all, like I'm loving that area. I also like that it's outside, but part of the reason I like it is that it's outside is so you can look around and see the rest of the world. So that's kind of really cool. So I definitely think that out of the restaurants that we've been to, I think that one's definitely a 5. It's really, really cool. I think it's really set up theme-wise, like, really well.
And when we went, like I forgot that when you're on world, and all of the cast members are actually from Batuu.
Right.
Because we started talking to someone, and like, I don't remember exactly what he was saying, and then all of a sudden it clicked. I was like, oh, wait.
We're on Batuu.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so I love it, and they're really good about that. Like, everybody that works there, like the cast members, they seem to really, really taking that on, and they're they're in Batu. So I love that. That's awesome. Let's go to perks. Any additional perks, anything like that? All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, we got a tie there. Okay. Why did you go with the 2?
I couldn't really think of any perks other than it's on the Disney dining plan, which there wasn't any Disney dining plan, so we didn't get to use that anyway. But that's the only one I could think of.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have even had the Disney dining plan this time anyway.
Yeah.
We stayed pseudo on property. We stayed at the Wyndham Garden. That's a Disney affiliate hotel in Disney Springs. It was a Disney Springs resort, so we didn't have the dining plan anyway. So we didn't really lose out doing that, but it is on the Disney dining plan normally if you do the Disney dining plan. So that is a perk if they're running it. My biggest perk, again, the only real thing was the theme. It's so super themed that I like that a lot. Perks, eating outside or like at least enclosed. So it's fully open, but you can eat under a roof, but it's not in a building. So you can still look out and see everything, but if it's raining or something like that, you can still be, which I think it did rain, and we ate it was kind of underneath something, so that was good.
It rained
before we ate.
Right before, so some of the tables were wet, but the one that we were sitting at, half of it was under, half of it was not, so it was mostly dry.
Right, but again, that's pretty much it. There's no free refills, there's no fixins station or anything like that, so I went with it too. For the perks. How about value? We'll go 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. All right. So why did you go with a 4?
Because I think for it's the typical, what was it, $14, $15 about.
Yep.
I mean, at least for me, the amount of food that we got was, it wasn't too much, it wasn't too little. Like the sausage comes on like a pretty big wrap.
Right.
And then
the pork and the coleslaw. Yep.
I just think that there was enough.
Good,
like I don't think I ate the whole thing, but I think that I could have easily ate the whole thing and not have been not hungry enough after or like overstuffed.
Okay. I went with a 4. I did think of another perk, which is that they have like a Tatooine punch, like a drink that's specifically themed. But I don't think that would bump it up to a 3 for me. But I'll add that here. Like they have that extra drink. It's not overly more priced than a fountain beverage, a little bit more, but I think it was good. I believe I got that as my drink. But the I think that the food was around $14.99 or something like that for the Ronto roast. I didn't have we're going over value now, but so I think that especially if you're on the dining plan, that's pretty good. I don't know if you get sides. I think it's just the Ronto roast. So to put what normally is a side, which is the coleslaw, onto the wrap. So that kind of is your side, like that's attached. So I think that for the amount of food that you get a pretty good sized amount of food, and everything's pretty much the same. And I think that also goes with like the breakfast wrap is pretty good size and everything, as well as some of the other options. So I think that pricing wise, I don't think anything was over that $14.99. So it was a pretty good price for what you get. So we'll go next to food, like what we thought of the food. Ready to go. 3, 2, 1. All right, a 5er. Okay. So why did you go with the 5 for the food?
I gave it a 5 because it was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. Is it pork?
Yes.
For me, like, porks, like it really depends, or like I was thinking more of like it might taste more like a hot dog.
Right.
Like it kind of depends on like the brand or like what it's made out of, whether or not I ever really like it. But it had a really, really good flavor. I thought it was gonna be like too spicy, but it wasn't.
Right.
The coleslaw was really good. The wrap was really good, and I think we dipped ours a little bit in mustard, right? Was it mustard?
Oh, man, I don't even remember. We'll have to look at some of the pictures.
Yeah.
But I think that was a possibility. I think you could get the mustard.
Mm-hmm. And it was just like regular like mustard, and it was even good dipped in that.
Yep, and it does have a sauce on it already.
Yeah.
As well. I thought that the sausage had a really good snap to it. Like it was really fresh, really tasted awesome. Like the pork that was with it was also really good. I thought it might be tough, but it wasn't tough. The only reason I went with a 4 is kind of my fault, is because I don't like coleslaw, so I didn't get the coleslaw on it, which left it a little lacking. I wish that they had a second side option, so you could say, would you rather have coleslaw on it or rice and beans or something like that? Just a second option. But as far as how it did taste, it was awesome. It was excellent. It was, I'd say, better than the food that I had at Docking Bay 7.
I agree.
Which I think we had talked when we talked about it there. That was something that we both had said. So Docking Bay 7. Okay, but the Ronto Roasters, the food was awesome, and they only have the one thing. I mean, they have a second option that's like a trail mix or something, but
and then they have a breakfast option.
Right, a breakfast option. But as far as like what you can get there for a lunch or dinner, they do one thing and they really do it right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a jack of all trades where everything's like so-so. This one was really, really good. So again, this was my fault for being a 4. But I'd still go with a 4. I mean, it was a little lacking because it didn't have that extra stuff in it. I looked at hers. We'll pull the picture up. I looked at hers and I was like, man, that looks like a really full, delicious sandwich. I looked at mine and I was like, there's something missing. So you could definitely tell when I didn't add that coleslaw that there was a little something that wasn't there that could have been. So went with that. And our last thing here would be, would we go back?
Okay.
Ready? All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, okay. Why did you choose that we would go back?
Because the food was so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. I chose 5, and we've said before on other ones, I think you sometimes will give a little lower number and say, I would try something else. But guess what? Woody's Lunchbox was closed when we went this time. So there was not a lot of options. Like we were trying to decide where to eat. All of a sudden, Backlot Express closed at an earlier time than it was supposed to. So it was like, options were just shutting left and right. I think for dinner, we ended up going to Disney Springs or something that day. We just ran out of places to eat in the park, and that was really odd. So there wasn't a lot to eat, and especially with all the different options in just Galaxy's Edge, Batu, I'd go with Ronto Roasters over some of the other restaurants. I think Ronto Roasters
even
definitely
on a regular day where everything was open, I think I would choose Ronto.
Right. So like the big ones, we haven't even eaten at Woody's Lunchbox yet, so I can't even say to that. But we'd like to eat at Woody's Lunchbox. But if it continues to be closed, it's Ronto Roasters. And if it's not closed and it's open, we eat there. But then the other meal, there's a really good chance we're hitting up Ronto Roasters again. It was that good. So Ronto Roasters all the way. Have you eaten at Ronto Roasters? And if so, what do you think? You can leave a comment in the comment section. Just like I said at the beginning of the show, join us tomorrow for our big showdown for the princesses. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, but you look for content specifically on like restaurants, some cool merchandise that we get in the parks, or specifically have questions and want to know how we book our things, we show videos on that as well. So if you are into any of that or just Disney in general, think about subscribing to our channel. And if you're subscribing to our channel, please tink that bell for notifications. And we'll see you guys next time.